Okay, story time. So my name's Felicia, and when I was about 4, the Pride and Prejudice movie adaptation starring Keira Knightley was released. And at the time, I thought it was really boring because, I was 4. But my entire family loved it. And I watched it so many times from behind couches during nap times when I was supposed to be asleep. That and Lord of the Rings, which kind of makes sense for my entire adult personality now. But I watched it enough times that eventually, as I grew up, I realized that it is a cinematic masterpiece, and it is what all movies should strive to be. That being said, this video is not strictly about Pride and Prejudice, but rather the aftermath of a life raised on historical movies. You see, season 3 of Bridgerton is coming out soon, so naturally I am rewatching it from the beginning, and it took about 10 minutes into the first episode for me to decide that I was making at least one Regency costume. The operative words there being at least, given that by the end of the first episode, I had already made plans for 3 dresses, a robe, a jacket, a cloak, and 2 stays. So if you enjoy sewing, history, Bridgerton, and truly manic pursuits, stick around.
I drafted a set of Regency short stays for myself ages ago and knew that I would need a new pair for this project, but I also want to try some long ones as well. Then I knew that I wanted to make 3 different outfits: nighttime, day wear, and formal evening wear. The nighttime set will have a nightgown with thin straps and a dressing robe with big puffy sleeves. The day wear outfit will have a dress with petal sleeves and a half jacket. I wanted each dress to have a different type of sleeve since they'll all have vaguely similar empire waistline shapes. But I don't really like the classic cap sleeve that you'd see in Regency, so for the formal wear I'm doing a floaty sleeve with a cloak and lots of embellishments throughout. Fabric hunting through my personal inventory can always be a scary ordeal, but luckily I've recently reorganized the entire system. A day may come when I force myself to just go through my fabric supply and design outfits based on what I have, but today is not that day. We will only be using the best of the best, most appropriate fabrics from the stock, and then buying the rest. Luckily, the people in my life know me well, and on gift-giving occasions, I often receive gift cards to fabric stores.
Alright, so I was able to find some fabric that we might be able to use, so now we just have to see how it looks with the fabric I've already bought.
Okay, I will admit I did a little bit of fabric hunting in advance of this project because I had a really specific vision on what I wanted the nightgown to look like. For every other piece in the set, I was willing to let the fabric choose me, but I knew that I wanted the nightgown to be white with some kind of floral motif on it. After checking out all kinds of laces, satins, gauzes, and chiffons, I ultimately landed on this particular jacquard with a kind of cherry blossom image, which felt appropriate with the pink title sequence tree. I left the store empty-handed because the prices were way more expensive in person, but I did get some potential inspiration for the formal outfit, and I stopped at one more location to get this chiffon. Then once I got home, I ordered my jacquard online, and now you're up to date.
Okay, really low, but bear with me here. First up, we have this lovely material for the stays, either one or both. I haven't quite decided, it depends on how much material I have here, but they gave me an extra yard, so I kind of feel like it's gonna end up being both. And I can definitely line that with either of these just white cotton options that I have. So stays should be all set. I might end up adding a layer of just like upholstery or interfacing, either sew-on or fusible, just to give it a little extra stiffness, but I have all that, so we don't have to worry about any of those. Stays are good. Okay, next up is the day dress, which will be made out of this lovely floral chiffon. And I wanted to have a little like half jacket thing with a nice collar, think Danbury style. And I've run out a few different options. Initially, I thought maybe I could do a green velvet, but it looks disgusting with these colors. It's totally incorrect. I do have a black stretchy velvet, which would save me a ton of time on fitting because it's stretchy, so I could just get it like about right and then we'll be totally fine. It's a bit harsh against the white. I might seek some second opinions. Then our last option here is this suiting material, which is spot on. It is the perfect color for this. It's just a pain in the ass to sew. So that, I guess we'll let Instagram decide. We'll do an Instagram poll. The people will decide. Okay, so then the last thing that we need to do is the evening dress, which I was able to find material for because I have been saving this gorgeous green satin. I'm obsessed with it. It is such a pretty color. And it's just got like a really nice body to it where it's not stiff, but it's also not like super lightweight. It's kind of in the happy medium area. So I'll be using this for our formal dress. And I've got at least a couple of options of trim that I purchased. Pretty gold and some cording, but we're gonna like go full glam on this one, so I'll probably end up buying more of all of that. So then the last thing that we'll need for the formal outfit is material for the cloak, because we're doing a little like capelet vibe and then full cloak underneath it. It'll have armholes. We need gloves. We're doing gloves too. Okay, that was just decided. The other thing is I don't know what color we're doing for the cloak, because this dark green is a pain. I feel like if you put it with like a deep red, it could be really cool, or it could kind of look like classy Christmas. Black might just look like you didn't have any other color options. White would be epic. White would be really fun, but it would be hard to keep clean and all that stuff, so maybe not the most practical. I don't know. In the meantime, I'm gonna go pick up our fabric from Joann's and maybe buy some fancy trims while we're there. I don't know.
After picking up the fabric I ordered, I wandered around this trim aisle for ages looking for any options that could potentially work with this fabric. The first option that I liked was this pearl and lace trim, but it'd be a bit tricky to sew on, especially around the neckline where I wanted it, so ultimately I dismissed that one as an option. But I did also find this lovely chiffon ruffle ribbon that I thought would be pretty dang perfect for the job, and it's not too expensive either. Honorable mentions go to these gorgeous silver leaves that I thought would be so perfect, but they were 3 yards for $10. Leaving with the chiffon ruffles, I ended up at my favorite fabric store, SAS Fabrics, because naturally all roads lead there. I found this silver option that I ended up being my favorite for the cloak for the formal outfit, and this light peachy color to line the chiffon day dress with. It was at this point that I realized I'd completely forgotten that I also wanted to make a robe or like dressing gown to go with the nightgown. It was a debate between this light blue floral and this white metallic gauze, and while I really liked the floral, I ended up leaving with the white. So I just made a joke to the cashier who was checking out my fabric that I was so much more confident with my decision making because I had exactly the amount of cash left in order to make this purchase, which means obviously it's fate and I was supposed to buy the things that I bought. To which she responded, "For sure." So after multiple trips, we're left with nightgown, dressing robe, stays, day dress and jacket options, cloak and evening dress, gloves, and trimmings. And with that, we officially have everything I could possibly need to make these projects happen. That is, until the next time I find an excuse to go to the fabric store. But for now, I'll leave you be. And if you want to learn how these projects unfold, make sure you subscribe and click the little bell button for a notification. And also, it helps if you follow me on any of these other social media platforms for quicker updates usually. In the next video, we'll officially be kicking off the sewing for this project, starting with the dressing gown or robe, and it'll be available in this playlist.